The sun rose over the rolling hills of the Ozarks, casting long shadows across the small wooden shack that Jed Clampett called home. It was a humble place, quiet and peaceful, much like the life he lived with his family. Jed was a man of simple pleasures, a poor mountaineer who worked hard just to keep his kinfolk fed. His days were filled with the rhythm of nature, the chirping of crickets, and the occasional blast of a hunting rifle as he sought out game for the evening stew. One morning, while Jed was out tracking a wild turkey, the silence of the woods was broken by the sharp crack of his rifle. He had spotted a target near a patch of soft, damp earth. He took careful aim and fired. But instead of the expected thud of a bird falling, a strange, bubbling sound erupted from the ground beneath his feet. Thick, dark liquid began to surge upward, coating the dry soil in a shimmering, viscous pool. Jed stared in disbelief, scratching his head as the earth continued to weep this strange substance. He did not know it then, but he had stumbled upon a fortune. It was oil, the black gold, the Texas tea that would change his life forever. The word of the discovery spread faster than a prairie fire. Almost overnight, Jed found himself a millionaire. The wealth was staggering, a mountain of gold for a man who had never seen more than a few coins at a time. His kinfolk were quick to offer their advice, their eyes wide with visions of luxury. They told Jed that he could not stay in those woods anymore. They insisted that California was the place to be, a land of sunshine, glamour, and endless opportunity. Jed, ever the man to listen to his family, agreed. They loaded up the old, creaky truck with everything they owned, pots, pans, clothes, and even the rocking chair, and set out on the long, winding road to Beverly Hills. It was a place he had only heard of in hushed tones, a land of swimming pools and movie stars. As they pulled into their new, palatial mansion, the locals stared in wonder at the Beverly Hillbillies, a strange, wonderful family who had arrived to claim their piece of the American dream. One morning, before Jed had even made his way down to breakfast, Granny was busy in the kitchen, preparing a meal that would challenge any chef. She had a habit of tossing ingredients into the skillet with a wild, rustic charm, shells and all. As the aroma of breakfast filled the air, a telegram arrived. Granny eyed it with suspicion. She told Jed not to open it, convinced that telegrams were harbingers of bad news, that someone had surely passed away. But Jed, calm and steady as always, disagreed. He insisted that the news did not have to be tragic. With a gentle smile, he opened the envelope. It was from Llewellyn Aden in Monroe, Louisiana. Llewellyn was a girl from back home, someone Jethro had known well, a girl he used to carry books for to school. The telegram stated that she was coming to California, flying in that very morning, and that she was finally ready to take the big step. Jethro, who had just wandered into the room, was baffled by the news. He could not recall what the big step might be. He remembered Llewellyn fondly, particularly her molasses cupcakes with marshmallow icing, which he often finished off after she had had her fill at lunch. He remembered her as a sweet, simple girl, and he had even once made her a ring out of a discarded horseshoe nail, slipping it onto her finger in a moment of youthful whimsy. As the family gathered around, trying to decipher the meaning of the telegram, Jethro grew increasingly nervous. He prided himself on being a sophisticated playboy, a man of the world, a member of the international jet set. The idea of being tied to a girl from his past, especially one who reminded him of his simpler days, felt like a threat to his new identity. He imagined the social elite in Monaco or the Alps looking down on him if he appeared with a girl like Llewellyn. He even went so far as to panic, leaving the house before breakfast was finished, fleeing from the prospect of a commitment he no longer felt he could honor. Meanwhile, at the bank, Miss Jane Hathaway was attempting to teach Ellie Mae the basics of secretarial work. It was a difficult task, as Ellie Mae was more comfortable with the animals than with the keys of a typewriter. Mr. Drysdale, their boss, was a man of intense focus and frequent agitation, always worried about the reputation of his bank and the behavior of the eccentric Clampetts. When he learned that a guest of the Clampetts was arriving at the airport and that Jethro was nowhere to be found, he insisted that Miss Jane and Ellie Mae go to meet her. At the airport, the woman who arrived was not the little girl they remembered. Llewellyn Aden had transformed into a beautiful, poised young woman. She was wearing shoes, and the pigtails and freckles of her youth had faded into a striking, elegant appearance. She was surprised to find herself greeted by the Clampett family and their friends. When she was eventually brought to the mansion, Jed tried his best to break the news about Jethro's reluctance. He spoke with her gently, trying to gauge her feelings and determine what she truly wanted. To everyone's relief, Llewellyn revealed that she did not want to marry Jethro. She had come to California to pursue a different dream. She wanted to be an actress. The revelation was met with joy by the family. They were thrilled for her and eager to help her succeed. Jed, knowing the influence of Mr. Drysdale, felt certain that the banker could open doors for her. They set off for the bank, where Mr. Drysdale, initially dismissive, eventually became convinced of Llewellyn's potential after witnessing her emotional display in his office. He saw it not as a breakdown, but as a brilliant performance, and he immediately declared her a natural-born star. He promised to dedicate himself to her career, envisioning her future on the silver screen, and even discussing the possibility of an Academy Award. As the day drew to a close, the family felt a sense of contentment. The misunderstanding about the marriage had been cleared, and a new, exciting chapter was beginning for Llewellyn. Jethro, though still wary, found himself reflecting on the past. The house in Beverly Hills, once filled with the tension of the unexpected visit, returned to its warm, familiar state. They looked forward to the future, to the possibilities that lay ahead, and to the joy of sharing their lives in this strange, beautiful new world. They had come a long way from the hills, but in their hearts, they remained the same, honest, kind, and deeply connected to one another, ready to face whatever tomorrow might bring with a smile and a grateful spirit. The bond between the family members remained the cornerstone of their lives. Whether it was Granny's cooking, Jed's calm wisdom, Ellie Mae's love for her creatures, or Jethro's journey toward maturity, everything they did was rooted in the values they had brought with them from the mountains. They learned that wealth did not change who they were, and that the most important things in life were the connections they held dear. As the stars shone over Beverly Hills, they felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that no matter where their paths led, they would always have each other. The journey was far from over, but for now, they were happy, united, and looking forward to the simple, beautiful days that lay ahead in their home away from home.